What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, club swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. I am back. I am back. But so is Albert. Good morning to you. Good morning to Andy, Bill, Cheryl, Chris, Corey, George. George is in the house. Good morning to Jay. We got Lucia. Good morning. We got Martina, Shane, Tim, all my people out in YouTube land. Jeffrey, Brian. Good morning to you. All my lurkers in the background. It's okay. I still love you. Hit that like and subscribe button. Man, got a lot of questions about jury duty. Man. No, the good news, I was found innocent under all charges, so it was good. It was good. Yeah, no, it was a frustrating day. I don't know if you guys have done jury duty. It was frustrating, but no, I didn't get picked. I was close. I was close. I was like, nah, this is the one I don't want to win. I don't want to win this one. So it was a whole day of waiting. I did get a trade in off my cell phone. I was trying to cell phone trade. I missed a good Boeing trade in the morning, and then tried to get some Uber. I didn't get stopped out. I didn't hit targets. By the time I got done with the whole day, I was like, oh, I'm up like 10 cents a share or something like that. So I just took my gains. But yeah, it's a whole day of just sitting in a big room. There's 300 people. I think three cases going on, and then they select 60 at a time, 45 at a time. You go to another room. It was a blast. And then they tell you like this tell me if you don't think you should do it. I'm like, I really don't think I should do it. I don't think anyone's destination and fate should be in my hands, to be honest. But so I think they understood, so they let me go. So otherwise, yeah, if I got picked, I'd be there today, and tomorrow would have been they were like, yeah, probably about a 2 day case. I'm like, oh. Either way, survived, and we don't have to do it for another 3 years. But yeah, wasn't really paying attention too much to the market because apparently you're not allowed to use cell phones where they take them from you and don't ever give them back. I don't know how that's legal, but that's what they told me. So couldn't really check in too much. But it looks like we had a dip. The dip got bought up. We are underneath a whole bunch of VPOCs this morning at the very lows of yesterday. So we'll see if this hangs on. It's not a great open. Again, still a little risk to reward to the bull side if we don't break down. That's probably not the bet I would put on today. But if we get some kind of a bounce, see if we get into like this 581.67 zone. I think really good resistance right now is going to take us into probably about 582.45. So we'll see if we can hang out. If this market opens and we just open the gates, we flush. We do have some support. 579.66. We've been there a few times before. I'm not that confident that this one will probably hold. I don't know if this one's gonna hold. And then that would take us down into 567.87. Lots of earnings coming out this week. Lots of Corey says it was either that or the cooking channel. Yeah, Corey says, of course you were trading. Yeah, I was sitting there just and then they go, yeah, we'll put on the cooking channel for you guys. But then like halfway through the recipe, they had to turn off the TVs to announce the next people to go in. And I was like, I'll never know how to make this mac and cheese. I have no idea now. It was a waste of time. So yeah, I got I tried to get some trades out. But we'll see if we come down with we're kind of losing sentiment. If you flip it to the weekly a little bit, we're not that bad. I mean, we're still inside of last week's candle. Obviously, you're not going to be as comfortable below the open of last week, but it's still very early in this week. How many times have we seen kind of the dip? We rally, we get those wicks at the bottom. So I don't know that I would still kind of lean to the bull side. I don't know how aggressively today, but longer term basis, I think still a little bit to the bullish side, just very cautiously bull. It would make sense after this weekly monstrosity of green candles. You get some kind of pullback. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I'd be a little cautious, a little protective here. And I do think we probably to the low end of today. I think this is a spot 579.73 that could break. And then we're probably gunning for this 576.94. After that, we got 575.55. That should be a decent support for today, right at the 20. If things go really out of whack, we'll see what happens. But we got Qs. Yeah, Bitcoin was going crazy over the weekend. Again, I didn't see too much of it yesterday, but I think today we're pulling back a little bit. But Qs, same thing. Let's flip this to the weekly chart. See how we closed last week. Almost a high wave candle. Yeah, it's gonna be a big week for earnings, though. Big week for earnings. We had a GM that reported this morning. They came out with a double beat, and they're down a little bit. We had 3M come out. They're up like $8 on a double beat. So not a lot of consistency yet in earnings. Qs, we're underneath where we opened last week. So that's again not great. Still inside that high wave candle. I guess the on a bigger picture, watch this 487.55. We start breaking that down. That's us taking out all of last week. Support on this one. We are opening at a little bit of support. This is a bearish gap and go. But we have a little support. 491.77. After that, we got 491.34. Honestly, we're probably looking at a little bit more choppish than anything. Probably for today, choppish to the bear side. But we have some of those decent supports kind of coming in, so we'll see if we can hold those. I'd be a little bit more cautious today. I wouldn't be going too crazy. All right, let's take a look at Bitcoin first, and then we'll look at Coinbase. BTC. Uh, just kind of hanging out. Yeah, so yesterday we did have that pullback. I have a longer term downtrend. So the last few days we were northbound of that. This seems like a pullback. I think today's close on this one. And again, it is 24-hour market, but today's close. If we get a rally, we close into like this 67,284. That would make me feel a little bit better. Otherwise, you have some support, which we're at right now, 66,899. If that breaks, you do have a little bit more room down to like 66,000. 65,909, something like that. So we can still, and it's still a healthy pullback. The only problem is now you're back in this downtrend, which I don't love, but can't argue with the recent decent pop on Bitcoin lately. Coinbase probably going to follow suit. Uh, Coinbase, so that one's gapping down as well. This one's doesn't really have support until a little bit lower, so look for like that 205.49 if you're looking to get in bullish. Inside candle from yesterday, from Friday's candle. We're at the very low end of that. Let's see if we get a little pop here out of the gate. If you want to go short, and again, maybe it's run like Bitcoin, so it's already up there. A better pullback spot would be probably somewhere around this 196.47 to really go long. But if you're looking for a day trade, maybe at this pop up if you want to go short. I'd look to go short somewhere around 210.26 would be the first spot I would look. Knowing that there's a little support 205. If that breaks, you have a good decent pop to the downside or drop to the lower side at least. But yeah, I would like to see a bigger pullback longer term, somewhere around 196.70. I think there was a I couldn't really read the email, but I did see the headline coming in from Yates, so he was looking to buy dips on Coinbase. But I didn't see what level it was, so I'd have to look at that. Tesla. Tessie. Earnings tomorrow. Tomorrow after the bell. That's gonna be a big one. I know Jeremy was on Benzinga, I think last week, I believe. I'm not sure exactly where he got his percentages from, but uh he was saying he thinks it's about a 60% chance they drop on earnings somewhere into that 200 level, and then that's probably a buy the dip opportunity. I do agree if we do, I don't know which way we gap, and he's going about 40% to the higher side. So he's leaning a little bit more bearish on the earnings, and then he's looking for the buy the dip opportunity. We haven't done much since the RoboTax event. This is a lot of consolidation. That being said, I was looking at some options yesterday. I was looking to maybe sell some puts, probably about a month out. I think you get like 200 plus dollars for selling the 185s. So I kind of don't mind if I pick up shares at 185, regardless of how bad earnings might be on Tesla. I think that gives me a good starting point, and then we could probably look to sell some calls against it, something like that. So I might be looking at doing something like that. I have all of day today, and I think the earnings are tomorrow night. So we have even into tomorrow to sell some of those. But especially if this thing wants to drop today, I would love to see a Tesla drop, come a little bit lower. Get me some better premium, maybe get me even a lower strike price. I wouldn't mind that. But really, really good premiums right now in Tesla for selling calls, selling puts. Otherwise, we haven't really done much lately. I can't really say today is going to be a day that we're going to break out and do something really crazy. However, that was not a great VPOC from yesterday. So that one did close below 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. Looks to me like they are trying to bring this down a little bit more. That might not be that far. So maybe we just kind of stay in this range today and tomorrow. Just wait for the news. But the next spot, 217.24, we've obviously broken that now a few times. I don't think that one's a really strong one. I think a little bit stronger level is going to take us to about 214.85. So if we could get some buying, if we start getting rejected around the 218, I might be interested in possibly going short on Tesla. But the problem is we haven't done much. We're still tight in this range. And then by the time we actually break out, now we're like $10 away. So um, it's a good spot for some options though. So I'll be looking at that later today. SHW. Mm, Brian says I was a day late on ZYXI. I'll have to, I'll have to take a look at that one. I don't know what that is. We got Sherman Williams. Sherman is gapping down. Was this earnings? Earnings miss. Yeah, you don't want a chart that looks like this straight up and then you get some misses. The downfall of that is phenomenal. But I missed earnings per share by 5%. That's a decent amount. You missed also by 37 million on the revenue side of things. It is a retest gap. You're into a little bit of support, nothing crazy, but you have a little bit of support down here. My question is, does 360.97 hold? And I could probably even go a little bit lower as target. 360.36. Would that be a bounce spot? I kind of want to look for this one as a fade almost, but it's hard to fade with those earnings. Huge retest gap. If I play the fade, it's not going to be for a crazy. I don't think we close this gap today. I think ultimately we probably come down from here. We come lower. My question is at open, is this too much of a gap on Sherman Williams? I think my target would probably be about 367.96 in a bullish direction. So I'd be patient out of the gate. If you get that initial pop, I would be looking to go short some around the 367.98 zone. If it opens, you get a little panic selling. Watch 360, see if we get a bounce in there. I wouldn't mind the attempt to actually play the fade on this one. Let's add this one to the lists. Get this one a little bit higher. But right now at open, if this is where we open, we still got 15 minutes. But if we open here, it's probably just wait and see what kind of candle setup we get. Maybe a high wave candle. We could try to play it bullish. There's a couple dollars there for the immediate fade. But I'd want this one to come either a little bit lower or just start running up higher. And then probably after the first 5 to 15 minutes, we could probably get something in. MSFT. Um, Microsoft. Uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 days. Just over 2 trading weeks of not a lot happening. Good day yesterday. Nvidia, I think, kind of helped save the market yesterday. They had the upgrade, but you saw Apple start running a little bit. You did see Microsoft pick up. Good, strong close on it. You're still in a bigger sideways chop zone. You do have earnings coming out end of the month, 30th. That being said, you do have I think your target for today would be 420.23. So you don't have a lot of room unless you think that target could break. The next really good resistance would take you right into that 100. I've got a good VPOC over here. We've been messing with that one for a little bit. Before 2089. If you're trying to set up a swing trade, that's a good looking hammer there. If you want to get more aggressive, probably underneath yesterday's lows. But I think I'd want to lean a little bit more bullish on Microsoft. I wouldn't be bearish on Microsoft. Probably Nvidia continues a little bit higher today too. But I wouldn't want to go short on this one. I just don't know how much the range to the higher side, how easy it is going to be to hit those targets, especially when you have earnings coming out. But I'd probably stay slight to the bullish side on Microsoft. We'll get that one up there as well. There was, let me look at this. ZY, was it ZYXI? Zinex. Good day yesterday. Nice little gap up today. Earnings come out on the 24th, so Thursday. Zinex is maintained at outperform. It's not quite an upgrade, but it's the next price target cut to 11 from 12. So price cut on them, not great. However, it is higher. Decently higher. My guess is they probably got a good short float on it. If I had to take a stab in the dark. Close at a pretty good resistance, 836. Nice little gap up. You're also opening into a decent resistance. Watch $9.01, or yeah, watch $9 one penny. I think this one probably is a fade unless there's other news that I'm missing on this one. The next price target maintained was $16 share. Yep. I think this one probably hits this resistance, maybe goes a couple pennies higher, and then I think this is a fade for today. Longer term, that does look like a pretty good double bottom. And then you got earnings coming out. You got to break through. Bigger targets on this one will take you to about $9.39. Lucia says, FYI, for anyone using Schwab, I tried to trade GME yesterday, and the broker would not allow margin to be used, even though it was a long play. They might have special requirements on GME. I think most brokers do. I don't know if it's still. I know during the what was it, 2020, 2021 Roaring Kitty boom, uh, they had restrictions on all of the beams for essentially. I'm surprised they still have it, to be honest. It doesn't look like it's really going too crazy. All right, we got deck, and then we'll take a look at target as well. Decker's Outdoors. Man, they had such a good opportunity. Beautiful looking hammer at the end of the close. Earnings has not come out yet, so earnings would be Thursday night. You got a lot of companies reporting this week. A heck of a lot of companies. Otherwise, gap down into a little bit of resistance. This is a gap and go. Look for some chop. I'd want to. Again, I think this one actually kind of fades from here, to be honest. Watch probably 153.94. If you start to, let's call it 153.90. If that starts to break there, then you probably get some more room down into this 151 zone. I would expect a pop here. You're right at that 100 EMA. You do have some decent support. Again, I'm not looking for a big move on this one, which I don't think we get up to this 159.39, but I can see us running into like this 156.46, maybe a little overextended move into 157.35. But yeah, down move. You got some earnings. Probably a good opportunity for anybody that likes Deckers to get into a bullish position before earnings if they do like it bullish. We haven't hit all-time highs. You just still got room to like 180 if they do something crazy. The last couple earnings have been good too, so I think this might be a buy the dip opportunity for Deckers. All right, let's see what else we got. Target TGT. Nope, that's incorrect amount of letters that I put in. All right, we got Targets. So they sold off, was their news yesterday. Target to cut prices on over 2,000 items during the holiday season. But when Amazon does it, they call it Prime Day. So why are we selling off? Oh, but all right, helping the consumer one sale at a time. That's some positivity. Positivity. You are right into that 200. So watch that 200. It could come a little bit lower. Your real spot on this one to the downside would be 148.88. Other than that, you probably get some buyers coming in right off this 200 EMA. That's a lot of selling. Again, probably looking for targets halfway through that candle from yesterday. That would also take me into a decent VPOC zone. So if you're looking to buy the dip on that, that's 153.09. Interesting sale time though. Yep, right around the holiday season. Well, right at that 200. You got the bounce a few times here. Keep in mind, so we got here to the 200. It took 2 days for us to really get above it. We got here, it took a few days for us to get above it. Doesn't mean we're gonna have a strong, big old bounce today, but that's a decent spot to attempt long. You do have yesterday's VPOC sitting at 150.67. And then if you start to break down this 148.79, next target to the downside 146. Longer term, you're probably looking at 143.59. So we'll see. Let's take a look at what do we got? 7 minutes AVGO. Still honestly in a big chop zone. Let's pull up the weekly. Yep. Still inside last week. We're getting we have a decent double top, although we did make one new higher high on it. So I wouldn't say the Bears are completely done with this one. When's earnings for these guys? Not for a while. So earnings are December 5th, plenty of time. You have your 20 EMA that's sitting somewhere around 176.45. You also have generally a VPOC around 177.07. They closed green yesterday for the candle, still at a lower price, even with the Nvidia rip. Probably more chop, but I would look to go long somewhere around 177.22. Look to go short around 179.40. So not a huge range on that one for today. I don't see. It is a gap and go too technically just because yesterday was green candle. That being said, I think it is more of a retest. If you're looking, it's a tough one to go short, but if I think this acts almost like a retest. I think shorting it 179.40 is your best bet. Get some kind of stop. Aggressively 183.13 and then maybe somewhere around 184.69 as swings. If this thing could actually hold on to that double top, but still chop zone. Still chop zone. General Motors, yeah. So General Motors earnings were good. They took it up. They were gapping down on this one, I think. Yeah, a little bit. They were gapping down a little bit off the earnings. They started to rally it up. I was gonna say, yeah, the earnings look pretty decent. So I'm glad they got their little rally in there. $50.25 would be my next little resistance. We're right into it. Almost want to see some kind of pullback into 49.77. Otherwise, I would let it be break out of this 50.25, come back, retest, and then see if you could take a play into that. But okay, surviving earnings. Surviving earnings. Let's take a look at 3M. 3M might be an interesting day trade. Again, it is up a decent amount, but there is a gap and go for 3 days. You're also breaking out of the pivot. Maybe because it's a wide gap and it is 3M, probably trying to catch it as close as possible to 139.51. Otherwise, you don't really have much holding you back into the zone. Let's see if I got any bars for a weekly. I do. Most of that volume is below us, so at longer term, at least, probably takes us to 145.63. I'm not sure if that's a day trade target, but you do have a little bit more room to go on 3M. PayPal. PYPL. PayPal. Chopzilla. Yep, holding a decent just sideways movement. Probably waiting for earnings, I would assume. My guess is on earnings, I think they get clobbered. I'm bullish on them. I'm bullish, but that is quite the run up. their earnings have been good. We've been beating. So you got a 20% earnings per share. I don't know. I think they come down probably on earnings to end up closing this gap at some point, 72.97. I'd be okay with that in a longer term picture, but I think that would be a buying opportunity. Otherwise, it is a gap and go to the bear side for today. That being said, you are opening right into some kind of support. You got a couple levels of support right below you, 79.50. Yeah, 79.50. And then you got big level 79.28. So if we can get past the 79.28, that's where I think I make my play. Getting some puts going short, 69.83 on that one. But now that they're up here, they have a much different bar they got to exceed. So yeah. Yum Brands. Mm, yummy brands. I think you got huge resistance pretty much where the highs of yesterday was 134.70. You're right at that 200. You got a lot of moving averages right above you as well. If you're gonna try to go long on this one, being that it's an inside day, I can see it perking up a little bit. This would be an interesting buy the dip opportunity for a swing. I think you'd want to try to come in a little bit lower, somewhere around 134.11. You're essentially hoping that 200 holds. You could probably throw stops down at like 133.02, and then entry somewhere in here. Entry around 134.11-ish. And you could probably set that for what is that, $1? Doesn't really move that much yet. It'd have to be more of a swing. But I think if yesterday's candle ends up breaking down, and then you get stopped and starts breaking that 133.19, I would just be out of it. Just see if you get a bigger pullback, kind of close this gap, look for like 130.53. But otherwise, pretty decent move. Nice little pullback. You're also, my guess is somewhere right around the 618 retracement. So not a bad opportunity, I think, for a swing trade. Day trade, volatility is usually kind of low on Yum Brands. Nothing crazy. All right. Yeah, I'm not expecting it. I'm not expecting a huge move. Let me just check Logi real quick. LOGI. Nice pop. Yesterday, this one looks short. That looks like we just dropped a lot of bulls. Price to the downside, look for, I think you could hit like 79.50. But other than that, that was the morning bell. So everybody on YouTube, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Big earnings this week, so buckle up.